welcome to our third episode of Communication Weekly. Today we'll be looking at a subject which is very known to be taught in communication studies.
And one of the most interesting ones in my opinion. It's mass and new media. This subject looks at how the media is imprinted in our daily lives and how it has more control over us than we might think. We often underestimate what the media actually does to us.
And that's why we are trying to make you more aware of this today. But for now, while students are not knowledgeable of everything in the media, we will have Valentin, our interviewer outside, asking them about what they know.
Okay, I'm reporting for Communication Weekly, and I'd like to know if you think that the media, that the news stations report accurately on any given information.
Which news stations are you talking about?
In general.
I suppose so. I guess so. I'm not really primarily there, but I think so. Yeah, I think the news stations are quite accurate.
Does the media have an influence on your opinion?
I think it does, because it's hard to keep your own opinion when you're being bombed with information all day. So I think it does.
I rather prefer to the point that they try to sometimes influence us than just to inform us about some information, because the media obviously can control everything what they want to tell us, and we have basically no direct control over it.
I do. I think that the subjectivity of people is influenced by the media to a great extent, depending on the origin of the media, I guess, like which country it's from, the different cultural influences the media has on everyone.
Okay, do you think that the media reports on the most important information only?
I don't know about the world media, but British media in particular reports on the information which people want to hear about most of the time, which doesn't necessarily mean it's the most important. It means it's what the customers want to read.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Valentin, for those interviews. So summarizing, we can see that most students are aware of an influence of the media on their opinion.
So the students know quite a lot already, but do they know about agenda setting, framing, and priming? Let's have Dima tell us more about these communication theories.
Thank you. So today we're going to be looking at three media processes: agenda setting, priming, and framing. First of all, we'll be looking at agenda setting, and basically agenda setting, it tells us what to think about. The media decides every day what's on the agenda for news, and they decide what topics are news. So eventually they decide what they consider as news, and we use their sources to inform ourselves, and therefore our news is only the news they broadcast. So agenda setting is the process of the media telling us what to think about and what is important. Often we believe that the news knows what is the most important, but there have been cases when that has been doubtful. So next off, we're going to be discussing framing, and framing is the process of using words to implant an opinion in your head to change the connotation of the message. This is often used by the news and the hardest to notice. An example of this is calling freedom fighters terrorists, or saying anti-abortion instead of pro-life, to implement a connotation and to also implement an opinion on the viewers and readers. Lastly, priming is the process of the media enforcing opinions of political candidates on their viewers or readers by the selection of what they choose to discuss about their candidate and what they choose to not discuss forms the image in total of the candidate, and that's what priming is. So these processes have been used throughout history and are still being used today, so I hope you keep that in mind next time you watch the news. Thank you.
Welcome back, and thank you, Dima. So, as you know now, media has a very powerful tool of putting thoughts and opinions of people and topics into your head. And that should definitely be kept in mind. They are able to decide what is news, so what you think about, just as the words they use in order to explain that. So ideally, the best thing to do for you is next time there's a topic of your interest, just read multiple sources and make your own opinion.
This is one of the key processes of mass and new media, and this is why we learn it in communication, because it's really the core process of how media works. And as communication students, we learn how to do this in class. So we hope you learned something today, and hope to see you next week.
Goodbye.